Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Reactor, and this is Quinn. And today's article comes from Vows.com, one of the most trusted websites I've ever seen. No, I'm kidding. And it's titled, Mexico's New President Has a Radical Plan to End the Drug War. Leftist President-elect Andrés Manuel López Obrador wants to end Mexico's militarized drug war. AMLO, like they show his abbreviation.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I didn't know people did that now. Okay.
I mean, it's more like it seems more like an abbreviation than an initials. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
With a long name like that, they had to do it.
A helicopter of the Police Condor Group over Mexico City on August 2nd, 2018. Mexican President-elect Andrés Manuel López Obrador, who will take office on December 1st, inherits a messy war on drugs cartels from his predecessor Enrique Peña Nieto. Well, whatever.
It's just a
stupid picture.
I mean, it's like just really bad, huge drug war down there, and all they could do is really legalize all the drugs to make it so that there's no profit in it.
Yeah, but threatening to legalize the drugs is threatening to put the cartels out of business.
Right. That's some crazy stuff. So if you take drugs away, they're going to find something else. But
yeah,
please continue.
Yeah, that's how it works. I guess. Mexico City. Juan Carlos Trujillo, I'm so bad with names, last saw his brothers Jesus Salvador, 24, and Raul, 19, a decade ago. Okay. Doesn't have anything to do with what I would expect from the story. The two men and 5 of their co-workers from the Trujillo family's scrap metal business were abducted in August 2008 after they stopped to stay the night in a little town in the Mexican state of Guerrero. Oh, sorry, I can't read because I'm so confused by...
Digitally challenged today?
I think this is about a war on drugs, right? It's about a president.
I think it's character building for the Trujillo family or something, so that we can sort of build a bond because they were abducted, and we need to feel something here.
Because that's where the war on drugs comes from.
They had a scrap metal business. I don't know how it relates to the drugs, but maybe they were, crushing cars for the mob or whatever.
The government's investigation went nowhere, so the Trujillo family took it upon themselves to search for their sons, but that drew attention and death threats from one of the many drug cartels fighting over their home state of
Michoacan.
Michoacan, yeah. So the family dropped their makeshift investigation. So yeah, how were they involved? They're scrap metal people. The sons were involved in some drug stuff. Yeah, maybe, or got caught up in something. Yeah,
or they wanted their land.
Okay. There's a quote: "You just never stop wondering what happened. If they are okay, if they are hungry or tired or hurting, if they're even with us anymore," Trujillo says. But things got worse. 2 years later, Trujillo's other brothers, Gustavo, 28, and Luis Armando, 25, were last seen approaching a military checkpoint in the Mexican state of Veracruz before they disappeared as well. Okay, so the cartel's doing this, right?
Right.
Is that our understanding? Let me scroll down. Trujillo is part of a massive community in Mexico, the families of the disappeared. Official statistics show that more than 3,700 people have gone missing in Mexico since 2007, though NGOs say the figure is likely much higher, as families are often too scared or of retribution to report. So they don't want to report the cartel for kidnapping people, I guess.
Right.
Human beings aren't built to withstand so much pain, Trujillo, now a full-time activist for families of the disappeared, says. Your dreams, your hopes, your plans, they all disappear. Since the military took to the streets to fight the increasingly powerful and violent cartels producing and trafficking drugs north to the consumers in the United States, tens of thousands of Mexicans have died. And a broken police and judicial system means perpetrators are almost never held accountable for disappearance or murder. But Mexico's next president, a leftist named Andrés Manuel López Obrador, has promised national reconciliation and peace and an end to more than a decade of drug war. To more than a decade. Isn't it like 30? How long? Like what? Hasn't Mexico been in the drug war for...
I have no idea.
More than decades?
As far back as I can remember being a kid, I've always known that there was like a drug trade happening across the border in Mexico.
López Obrador, who is usually referred to by his initials, AMLO, okay, that's a little easier. Why didn't they say that sooner? Was elected on July 1st with the biggest margin of victory for a president in Mexico's modern democratic history. The failed crime and violence strategy will change, he proclaimed during his victory speech on election night. He will address the root causes of crime and violence. AMLO and his advisors have proposed sending drug war fighting soldiers back to their barracks, pardoning non-violent drug offenders, and boosting social programs, repeating slogans like "Hugs, not gunshots" on the campaign trail. Hugs, not gunshots? Like, because Mexico's full of murder, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, there's a obviously trying to reach the next generation of people, of kids, trying to teach them, hey, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You don't have to get in the drug trade.
If the incoming president gets his way, this will be Mexico's first major split from the U.S. on crime fighting and drugs in decades. But the obstacles are many, and it remains to be seen if the new president has the lasting support and resources to end the drug war. Mexico's drug war has devastated communities for more than a decade. View of body of a woman shot dead near her house in Sinaloa, August 1st. It's not easy to pinpoint when Mexico's drug war started. Marijuana and poppy, used to produce heroin, plants have long flourished in Mexico's Sierra Madre mountain range, and in the 1960s, the government started incinerating them. This did little to stem the drug trade, and in the 1980s, Mexico's first drug lords emerged, like the Guadalajara cartel Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, soon to be dramatized in the new season of Narcos. Oh, so they do different cartel leaders in that show? But the latest iteration of the drug war, which was coincided with Mexico's most violent era in modern history, began in 2006, when the newly elected President Felipe Calderon declared war on cartels and sent 6,500 soldiers to the unstable Michoacan state, or whatever you said before. This is a battle we have to wage, Calderon said at the time. Together as Mexicans, we will beat back crime. Okay. Calderon's military deployment was later bolstered by the Merida Initiative, an agreement with the United States to cooperate on the drug war. Since 2008, the U.S. has given $2.7 billion to Mexico through the initiative to help shape Mexico's security policy, while the Department of Defense gives millions more in its work with the Mexican military. We're giving them a shit ton of money, and nothing's happening.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, for nothing to happen. Well, maybe it is happening.
Yeah,
it would be worse.
To help fund and mobilize their security, their military. Is that what they're giving money to? The military?
Just to Mexico, probably, for the drug war.
Right. Well, it's like the military is fighting against the drug traffickers right now. It sounds just, it sounds crazy. You know, like, no, let's go up against the military. And
in Mexico, it's actually a war. Here, it's just like the runoff of the war. Mexico relies heavily on its military to pursue drug traffickers and bolster security in states mired in crime and corruption. In recent years, more than 130,000 military personnel have been involved in drug war-related activities on an annual basis. And since Calderon deployed the military, the effects have been devastating. There's been 127,000 organized crime-related murders, according to Lantia Consultores, on top of the tens of thousands of people who have disappeared. Mexico recorded more murders in 2017 than in any other year in modern history, and the murder rate is already up another 14% in 2018. Oh my God!
Yeah, it's because it's like they're like, hey, we'll pay you if you just turn a blind eye, or we'll pay you if you get out of our way, or don't talk. And then if you're like, no, they'll just kill you. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like accept payment or die. Unless like if you're a cop or a military person and you're only making like $5 to $50 a day, and someone comes up and hands you a bag with $200,000 and is like, here you go. I mean, what do you know, it's probably difficult to not take it because you know they're going to kill you.
But organized crime groups are not the only perpetrators. The Mexican armed forces, as well as federal, state, and local police, have all been implicated in atrocities. In the case of the disappearances, when buses full of college students were reportedly intercepted by the police on their way to a march in Mexico City and handed over to a drug cartel, an independent investigation showed that high-level authorities were aware or even anticipated in the disappearance of 43 students. What?
Wow, 43 students
Were given to the cartel
So
by the federal government.
Ayotzinapa is like a college in Mexico, or it's a college in Mexico, and these were Mexican college students?
I guess, yeah. That's kind of creepy, man.
Wow.
And on top of that, all this bloodshed doesn't seem to have made a dent in drug trafficking. According to U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration's 2017 report, Mexican cartels are fueling epidemic levels of heroin use and overdose. And more recently, fentanyl. Mexican amphetamine production is increasing and is particularly pure and potent. Cocaine trafficked through Mexico is on the rebound. AMLO's landslide election in July, however, could drastically change the government's response. This article is too long. On the campaign trail, the leftist candidate repeated catchy slogans and rhymes to show his opposition to the militarized drug war. These included phrases like abrazos, no, blazos, whatever, hugs, not gunshots, scholars, yes, killers, no, and you can't fight fire with fire. He kicked off the strategy in earnest on August 7th with a town hall in the border town of Ciudad Juarez, once considered the world's most dangerous city. The week before AMLO arrived, 11 bodies were found and bound and strangled in a house. Jeez. We cannot solve these violence problems with an iron fist and with more prisons, he told the town hall's restless crowd in a speech filled with many slogans and few specifics. I do not believe in eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. We cannot fight evil with more evil. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Before his inauguration on December 1st, AMLO and his future cabinet members will travel around the country to hear citizens' concerns and ideas on the future of drugs and security. While the plan isn't yet concrete, they say they are determined to end Mexico's militarized drug war. The strategy up until now has been to use police and military force as the first tool, says Alfonso Durazo Montano, AMLO's pick to head the Department of Public Security, which would oversee the police, while those will still be a resource. They will be the last resort. Our goal is to attack the deep roots of our security problems, political, economic, social, and cultural problems. He summarizes the plan's 4 points.
That's all great and everything, but there's a bunch of guys that are almost like inhuman, not human, I mean, like with guns that want to sell drugs really bad right now, and the only
or they just want
you
money.
can't stop them by gathering them around a podium and be like, "Look, guys, look."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just not going to work.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the article right here because they're not even really talking about it.
I have some things I'd like to say. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Okay, so this is a drug war, and it trickles up across the borders because they have to bring it up across the borders. The violence comes over into the United States, as bad as it is in Mexico, and the only way to stop it is to take the drugs and the people off the street. But who knows how many people are involved in the whole drug trade. Obviously, they're paying people. The Mexican mafias are paying people to obviously not talk and to, like I said, turn a blind eye. And threatening people, murdering people, kidnapping people. They took 43 students. They took the whole bus full of students.
Yeah.
Like the whole bus. Do I want to take a vacation to Mexico City? Honestly, I've never really wanted to go that far into Mexico. I had a friend from Mexico City and I worked with, and he told me many times that the police are were more dangerous when he was growing up in Mexico City than the criminal, or just as dangerous. He was just as worried.
They were criminals.
Right.
Yeah.
He was just as worried about both. But then on the opposite end, I've heard stories about people who, go to places like Michoacan, way deep down there in the south, and there's beautiful mountains and clear rivers and water, and it's beautiful, and they had a great time. So I just think that you get lucky or you don't. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think Mexico it's got a lot of bad hombres down there. and they're coming into America.
Vacaros, I think they're cowboys.
No, I don't know.
I think that's what they're called. Right?
Yeah. So this article, the drug war, it's all stupid. Yeah. If we legalize drugs, they will find something else to
like human trafficking.
Yeah.
That would even be
unless
worse.
we legalize human trafficking.
And they're already taking busloads of college kids. I mean, how many more busloads would they take? Probably all of them.
Yeah. So if we legalize prostitution, human trafficking will be a lot more difficult. You know.
Yeah, but the prostitution would only be legalized for certain aged adults.
And they would still traffic in
so they
the
would
illegal.
try to traffic the illegal aged people.
Because that's where the money is.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's it for the video. I'm not finishing the article because I really don't care. Do you?
No.
Nah, you guys probably don't either, right? Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to like the video, and we'll see you in the next one.